Hello, welcome to Introduction to the Visual Arts. Today we're going to do a project based on symbols, or in some instances it could even be called folk art, but we're going to do one based on symbols. And it can be as folksy as you want it to be. That's totally acceptable. We're looking at the Arnolfini marriage portrait, and there is a video someplace else that explains this painting on the Moodle site, and it's all about this painting from the 14th century is just chock full of symbolism. There's symbols everywhere, and you can watch the video and it will tell you what the symbols mean. Again, this is the marriage portrait. The Arnolfini marriage portrait is one of the names. It has many other names. It's from about 1450 or so, and it was done by Jan van Eyck, and it is in the Northern Renaissance style. Okay, and it's two people. It's really called a double portrait because two people are shown in the picture. Okay, so what are we going to do? What is our referential piece going to look like? I'm going to move this aside now, and I'm going to show you some modern day symbols that we got from the internet. We just looked at the internet, and there are tons of these around, and these are just a few of them. But whenever you look at these symbols, you kind of have an idea about what people are thinking. They're not really drawn at all like the Northern Renaissance painting of the Arnolfinis that I showed you. These are basically little line drawings. They're very simple. And here we have these smiley faces, and I think you call them emoticons. They're all over the internet. Here is a man with a pencil. Here are the two fingers up. Here are sun symbols, cloud symbols, lightning symbols, and there are house symbols. There are symbols for houses, symbols for trees, and really what happens is lots of times we resort to drawing in symbols. The reason we like to draw in symbols is because we don't know how to draw realistically, so then we like to use symbols. Well, you know, there were artists that used symbols in a big way, maybe not the old Arnolfini in the Jan van Eyck painting. He was very realistic in the way that he used his symbols, but there's lots of artists that draw kind of primitively or just use lots and lots of symbols. So I want you to think about a symbol or several symbols or a political statement or a point of view that you want to take. Think about some sort of issue that you want to talk about, and you want to reduce it to symbols. So let's get started. I'm going to put this aside. You're going to need one of your pieces of paper from your 9x12 multimedia pack. And so I have a piece of paper here, and what I did is I took a bowl from the cupboard and I just traced around it so that I would have a circle. Now, if you have a compass, you can do this with a compass. But if you don't have a compass, you can just do this the down and dirty way. And so this is how I'm going to do it because I don't have a compass. Now, this idea of using a circle, this is an old idea because this idea that there's no beginning and no end, it's an idea that's been around in art for as long as we have art, you know, that we even know about art. So it's a very old idea of the circle. It's like considered in the Renaissance, it was considered the divine circle. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting out my circle. So that is okay to do that, and because I'm going to do just a down and dirty way of dividing my circle into 8 equal parts. So just about, I'm around the corner here. So we are going to create what is called a mandela design. The mandela design is something that probably came out of India, but we're going to use our circle. We're going to put our symbols in it, and we're going to try to think of a social issue. So I have my circle. Now I'm going to just do this because I don't have a compass. So I'm going to fold it in half like this. This is easy enough to do once you have it cut out. And you want to be kind of careful when you cut it out. So now I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 equal spots. And so now I'm going to just divide it in half again. And I'm going to make sure that these line up through the center. And so now I have 6 sections. And now I'm going to continue here. And I am going to, like this. Now I know that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces of the pie. So now I'm going to find my symbol. I'm going to draw my symbol or my symbols in here. Now it's really important because you want to take one piece of the pie and you want to make sure that you want to fill up the space. So you want to have lots of big stuff in here. You want to hit the edges. And then what you want to do is take whatever you've drawn in this one, you want to repeat it in each of these pieces of the pie. And you will create a so-called mandela design. Now let me show you an example of one that's finished. Here's a mandela design, and this one is all about recycling. So this is done in marker. You can do it in marker, or you can do it in colored pencil, or you can paint it. It doesn't matter. It just depends on, use whatever medium you have handy. You can even just do drawings if you want to and do the whole thing in black and white. And you can see here, this person took some liberties where every other piece of the pie is a different color. But the bag of materials to be recycled is the same in each one. So you might want to create a template or a pattern. And the other thing that's really good about this is look at how this artist filled up the space. It just about fills up the whole piece of the pie. And it makes a very interesting drawing. Now, here is another mandela design where this person just took a flower, and their social issue is not nearly as clear, but it's a very flat flower, so you could say that it's a folk art or that it's a symbol flower. So something like this is totally acceptable too, but then if somebody asks you what your social issue is, or when you write about your artwork, you might want to be able to talk about it. You might want to be able to tell what your social issue is and what you were thinking about. This again is done in markers. Now there is no set of markers in your media pack, but they're all over the place, and maybe you can borrow some, or you can maybe buy a set, or maybe you have some at home that you could use. Here is another mandela. This one is done in colored pencil, so that's also a possibility. This one has to do with saving the whales. And here you can see you have this kind of symbol whale with a life preserver on it, and then again done 8 separate times to create this sort of array of whales, and also talking about a social issue. Well, that is how you do the project. Now, because we cut out our circle, when you're all done, you'll want to mount it on a backing sheet. And this one was cut out and mounted on this black, and that really makes it stand out. That really makes it pop. And again, this is quite pleasing because it didn't use too many colors. It's used some very dark colors and some very light colors, so you have high contrast. And so that makes this mandela design very, very pleasing. So with that, I'm going to stop now and let you get started with your social issue that you have drawn in symbols. And again, it references the Arnolfini marriage portrait from the 14th century. Thank you for your attention.